This is an easy and short search engine optimization SEO success story from Reddit, from the entrepreneur subreddit of reddit.com. I'm going to read it to you. So short, so simple, literally just about making basic optimizations on a site that already has a bunch of stuff built, already has revenue, and just a little change like that, just a little change just like that takes the site from $760 to $14,348. A 1,785% revenue increase in just a month using SEO, using simple optimizations. So I'm going to read this to you, and then I'm going to share an insight that a lot of people on the search engine optimization subreddit seem to be having now. And I had this insight in 2020, and it's something that I talk about all the time in the show, but I'll get to that in a bit. Okay, this is the post. Roughly a month ago, I was approached by an e-commerce store owner who told me about his business, saying how he spent all this money on paid advertising, but his organic presence was rather lackluster in comparison. Now, he wasn't sure why, so we're about to see this guy just do the most simple optimizations that this e-commerce store owner was overlooking, which greatly increases revenue. Okay, he had hired other SEO specialists in the past to check on it, but nothing seemed to stick for him, and it was getting frustrating seeing as he wasn't able to tap into the whole other side of his marketing strategy. I told him I would look into it and give him a price on what it would cost for me to take care of it, but at the bare minimum, he could always take the advice I give him back to the drawing board if he didn't feel like working with me. By the way, the price that this guy cited was only $1,000 per month. Crazy inexpensive. Now, after meeting him, I went home and I ran his site through multiple tools such as Ahrefs, Screaming Frog. I checked his Google Analytics to find whether or not what he said was true. And it was true. He was generating thousands of users and sales all through paid search with little to no money really coming from organic search. So he's spending tons of money on ads, making money from that, not getting results with organic search. The post continues, just in the previous month, he had done $760 in organic search revenue compared to the $400,000 plus he was doing in paid advertising. So the numbers just weren't adding up, and after reviewing his site, it was clear as to why. He had title and heading tags that didn't make sense, content that didn't belong, schema that didn't exist, and a load of problems that just weren't conducive to a positive SEO strategy. So I just want to break this down for a second. Everything that this guy described, all the problems, and when I was doing SEO for clients, I would see this too. I would have clients that were making a very healthy amount of money from ads. They had a good amount of recognition. Their organic performance in comparison was crap. It was terrible. And so often when I looked at it, it was just they were making the most simple mistakes. Title and heading tags that didn't make sense. Nothing sophisticated about that. You just have to know how important a title and heading tags are in SEO. And then just put in keywords into your page titles and into your heading tags. Very simple. Content that didn't belong. Okay? Have a niche. Again, very simple. Schema that didn't exist. Not as simple, but still a pretty easy fix. This guy probably had some bad dev on a WordPress site. Maybe all they had to do was remove a plugin. And I would bet the load of other problems were like slow page speed or something like that. And actually, a bunch of tests that I have seen myself show that unless your page is horrendously slow, it doesn't actually make a huge difference to SEO. People say that it does. That's one of those myths in SEO. You can tell how inexperienced, if you're trying to hire a search engine optimization consultant, you can tell how inexperienced that person is if they keep talking about page speed and your page is not very slow. Your site is not very slow. If your site is decent and they're using Google page speed insights and they're like, well, look at this. You can tell that this person is pretty inexperienced and they're not going to get you results. Okay, I'm going to finish reading this. To make a long story short, I reported all my findings to this potential client, threw him a price, and we began our work. I fixed all the mentioned errors, and just in 1 month alone, we're able to make tremendous leaps and bounds as we added over 400 new keywords in the top 100 of Google. And you can tell by the title of this post, we took his site from $700 in the previous month to up over $14,000 in just over 1 month. Now, I will say that this is not the normal organic traffic situation, and many times these types of results take 6 to 8 months to create. But for this store owner, actually, I think it's way less than that. He says 6 to 8 months. I think making fixes like this, it really, from my experience, actually, it is a month. I shared a story on this podcast, and I think in my newsletter, I just added keywords. I don't remember the exact keyword that I was trying to rank for, but I added keywords to a bunch of posts where I just looked at Google Search Console. I saw all these keywords that I was ranking on page 2 and 3 for. And all I had to do was add those keywords to my text, to my headers, to my meta description, to my page title, and then I was ranking number 1 for them in a few days. So I actually think this is totally normal. And that's why it's inspiring, because there are so many little optimizations like this that you can make that make a tremendous difference. So I'll finish this now. I share this story because things like this always blow my mind, because there's so much potential and opportunity out there just waiting to be seized, but nobody ever takes advantage of it. And that includes online, offline, business, friendships, and whatever else you can think of. So for those of you struggling to find that opportunity, I hope this serves as motivation to you. And I hope if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. And that goes with me too. If you have any questions, ask me too. There's one more thing that I want to talk about on this episode, another SEO thing. And this was in the search engine optimization subreddit. And it's just, again, I've talked about this on the show before, but people have woken up to the fact that top of funnel content is not a good idea. Bottom of funnel content is the way to go. And I call it bottom of funnel content, purchase intent keywords. These people are, I thought the term that I was seeing in the subreddit was interesting. They're calling it demand generation keywords. Demand generation is actually really a good way to look at it, because that doesn't necessarily mean purchase, trying to spend money. It just means keywords that are addressing demand. But at the end of the day, it's really bottom of the funnel. It's people who are ready to use something. Keywords that target people who are ready to use or purchase something, or who just know what they want. The way that I describe it is I say these people, they are searching because they know what they want, but they don't know the brand that is going to give it to them. Think about the marketing funnel like this now. Maybe they started their search with ChatGPT or Gemini. They started their search with an AI chatbot that was trained off of this top of funnel content that SEOs used to write, which is a complete waste of time, as I've talked about. And they used ChatGPT to just go down the funnel from the top to the middle. And now they're at the bottom. And now they know what they want and they go to Google, or they still ask ChatGPT. But because webmasters are waking up to the fact that bottom of funnel keywords, such as, I'll just give you some examples. Someone even asked me on Instagram, what's the difference between, I call them compact keywords. What's the difference between a compact keyword, which is bottom of funnel, and a non-compact keyword? So I'll give just a few examples. A compact keyword, collaboration software with intuitive learning. Someone who is searching that knows exactly what they want, but they don't know the brand that's going to give it to them. They could ask Google about that. They could ask ChatGPT about that. And if a webmaster is making content targeting that exact keyword, ChatGPT is going to recommend that webmaster's tool. So that's an example of compact. That's an example of bottom of funnel. Collaboration software with intuitive learning. Non-compact, enterprise collaboration software. That's not compact. That's maybe middle of the funnel or even top of the funnel. People are kind of exploring with that. They don't completely know what they want just yet. Another non-compact keyword, another top of funnel keyword, what is collaboration software? That one's very obvious. And I just think it's interesting that people are waking up to this so many years later. After I found it, that's many years ago that I found this and started to operate on it. And even through this recent update where people got demolished, my sites that were targeting bottom of funnel keywords, these compact keywords, my sites that were targeting these, completely unchanged. And ChatGPT even recommends my tools for these purchase intent keywords. I'm excited by this. I'm literally making a course about this now, but there's lots of resources out there for free as well that people can look at. If you want to just see examples of sites that are crushing it, I mean, I have my own site, but I learned from bitrix24.com/uses, bitrix24.com/uses. And if you want to see an agency that's doing this very well, you can check out leewayhertz.com and look at their rankings, look at the keywords that they're ranking for. I'm going to end this podcast with the last line again from the first post about the simple optimizations that made such an increase in revenue. It always blows my mind because there's so much potential and opportunity out there just waiting to be seized, but nobody ever takes advantage of it. That includes online, offline, business, friendships, and whatever else you can think of. So for those of you struggling to find that opportunity, I hope this serves as motivation. This is episode 283 of The Edward Show. This is my daily growth hacking and growth marketing podcast. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. Saturday night here in Poland, I got some coffee. I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye now.